Today we will study about chemistry in everyday life. Now we will study about the various type of drugs that are there. We will study about the chemicals which we use in food, and we will also study about the detergents. So basically we will study about the applications of chemistry in everyday life. Let us start with what is a medicine. Medicine is any chemical that is used to cure diseases or to reduce the pain. Now we also use drugs for it. What is the difference between medicine and drug? Medicine does not have any side effect, but drugs, they have side effects. They are habit forming. Medicines are not habit forming. So आपने देखा होगा that in some medicines it is written that it is a drug, so which has to be taken only after prescription from a doctor. Now what is chemotherapy? Chemotherapy is the treatment of diseases using chemicals. Now let us understand the different types of drugs. Now what are antacids? The drugs which are used to reduce the acidity in stomach, या क्या करते हैं? They maintain the pH level of the stomach. They are known as antacids. Now magnesium hydroxide, sodium bicarbonate were initially used as antacids, but what is the limitation of them? कि they can only cure the acidity, but they do not control the cause of it. That is कि वो stomach में जो acid produce हो गया उसको neutralize तो कर देंगे, लेकिन उसकी production को रोक नहीं पाएंगे. So that means then came cimetidine and ranitidine. Now what is the function of these two? ये क्या करते हैं? They control the production of HCl in the stomach. इसीलिए ये they are better antacids as compared to magnesium hydroxide and sodium bicarbonate, because they also control the symptoms along with the cure of acidity. Now what are antihistamines? Antihistamines are the drugs which can be used against the histamines which are produced in the body. They are the allergy causing substances. तो जो हिस्टामीन्स को रोकता है, उनके एक्शन को रोकता है, दे आर नोन एज एंटीहिस्टामीन्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सिट्रिजिन, डाइफेनाइलहाइड्रामीन. Now next category is, now what are tranquilizers? The drugs which are given to cure stress, fatigue or mental diseases. They are known as tranquilizers. Now you must have heard that this person is in depression. Now how is that depression caused? There is a hormone, that is non-adrenaline. What happens is that if the level of non-adrenaline in the body becomes low, it causes depression. Now what happens is, what do these tranquilizers do? They inhibit the enzyme which catalyzes the degradation of non-adrenaline in the body. तो क्या होता है, जब non-adrenaline low हो जाता है तो message transfer process in the body becomes slow, leading to the depression in a person. तो ये tranquilizers जो हैं, they are antidepressant drugs. Example, Veronal, Equanil and derivatives of barbituric acid. Now next category is analgesics. Now what are analgesics? Analgesics are drugs which reduce pain, and they can also be used as antipyretics. अब आपने देखा होगा, whenever you are suffering from fever, you take crocin pain relief. That means it is working as an antipyretic as well as analgesic. Antipyretic क्या होता है? Which reduces fever, और analgesic क्या होता है? Which abolishes pain. So aspirin is a drug which is used as analgesic as well as antipyretic. So it is analgesic as well as antipyretic. Now analgesics can be classified as narcotic analgesics and non-narcotic analgesics. Now what are narcotic analgesics? They are the drugs which are habit forming और they cause addiction. इनको कब यूज़ करते हैं? इनको यूज़ करते हैं पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पेन को क्योर करने के लिए, या आफ्टर चाइल्ड बर्थ, या फिर कार्डियक पेन के लिए. एंड व्हाट आर द एग्जाम्पल्स? एग्जाम्पल्स आर मॉर्फिन एंड कोडीन, or you can say heroin. Now what are non-narcotic analgesics? Non-narcotic analgesics हैं जो पेन को रिड्यूस कर देते हैं, अबॉलिश कर देते हैं without causing impairment of consciousness. That means they are not habit forming. So example is naproxen and ibuprofen. Now next category of drugs is antimicrobials. What are antimicrobials? They are the drugs which are used to cure diseases which are caused by bacteria, fungi or yeast. So under antimicrobials we will study antibiotics. So antibiotics क्या होते हैं? They either kill the bacteria or they inhibit the growth of bacteria. Now we have two types of antibiotics. One is bactericidal antibiotic, that is which kills the bacteria, penicillin which kills the bacteria, and bacteriostatic is erythromycin which inhibits the growth of bacteria. Now we also classify them as broad spectrum antibiotics and narrow spectrum antibiotics. Now what are broad spectrum antibiotics? The antibiotics which can be used against a number of diseases, they are known as broad spectrum antibiotics. For example, erythromycin, chloramphenicol and tetracycline. And we also have gram positive bacteria or gram negative bacteria in the body. So the antibiotics which can be used against both type of bacteria, they are broad spectrum antibiotics. And what are narrow spectrum antibiotics, which can be used only against a specific disease. For example, penicillin. That means it can be used either against gram positive bacteria or against gram negative bacteria. Now we will study what are sulfa drugs. Sulfa drugs, they have antibacterial powers, that means they can be used against bacteria. What are sulfa drugs? They are the derivatives of sulfanilamide. What is sulfanilamide? This is sulfanilamide. So they are derivatives of sulfanilamide, that means first example let us take sulfadiazine. So the structure of sulfadiazine is and sulfapyridine that is this is sulfapyridine, and they are the derivatives of sulfanilamide. That means one H has been replaced by this group here and the other H has been replaced by pyridine here. Now let us understand what are antiseptics and disinfectants. Now antiseptics can be used on the living tissues. They are used to kill microorganisms or inhibit the growth of microorganisms, and example is Dettol, which has two constituents, chloroxylenol and alpha terpinol. We have iodoform, which is again used as an antiseptic. We have soframycin and tincture of iodine, which can be applied on wounds. Then what are disinfectants? Disinfectants can be used to inhibit or kill the microorganisms, but they cannot be applied on living tissues. So they can be used to disinfect the floors, the tiles. Example, now phenol is a substance which can be used as antiseptic as well as disinfectant. 0.2% phenol is antiseptic and 1% phenol is disinfectant. What is the basic difference between antiseptics and disinfectants? That antiseptics can be applied to living tissues and disinfectants are used for inanimate objects. They are used for inanimate objects. What does bithionol do? Bithionol imparts antiseptic properties to the soap. It reduces the odor which is caused by the bacterial decomposition of organic matter on the skin. Now what is the structure of bithionol? It is now we will study about the chemicals which are used in food. What are food additives? Food additives are the substances which are added to food in order to improve its quality in terms of food value, color and odor. First we will study about artificial sweetening agents. The substances which are added to food which provide sweetness to the food without providing any calories. So, first example, let us see saccharin. Now, saccharin is 550 times sweeter than sucrose. It is used by diabetic patients because it does not impart any calories to the food, but it adds sweetness to the food. Now, saccharin, it gets excreted through the urine. It does not get metabolized in the body. That is why it is used by diabetic patients. Next is sucralose. Now sucralose is a trichloro derivative of sucrose. It is stable at baking temperature and cooking temperature, so it can be used in the food. Next is allitame. Allitame is 2000 times sweeter than sugar. So we cannot use it in the food because it is difficult to control the sweetness of the food to which you add allitame. Now aspartame is 100 times sweeter than sucrose and it is unstable at cooking temperature or baking temperature. So that means it can be only used in cold foods or cold drinks. Now let us understand what are food preservatives. They are the substances which are added to the food in order to protect it from bacteria, molds and yeast. Now what are class 1 preservatives? Class 1 preservatives are sugar, salt and vegetable oils. Now what are class 2 preservatives? Class 2 preservatives, now first example is sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate is used in acidic foods and cold drinks. And sodium metabisulfite is used in, it is Na2S2O5 and it is used in jams, pickles and squashes. Now let us talk about antioxidants. Antioxidants are the substances which are added to the food in order to prevent the oxidation of fats present in them. For example, we have BHT, that is butylated hydroxytoluene, and they are added to potato chips, biscuits and other breakfast cereals. So this is butylated hydroxytoluene, and we also have butylated hydroxyanisole. Anisole mein we have OCH3 attached to the benzene ring, hydroxy will be OH. So this is butylated hydroxyanisole. Now we will study about the soaps and detergents. Now we will study about the cleansing agents like soaps. Now what are soaps? Soaps are the sodium or potassium salts of higher fatty acids, like we have stearic acid, we have palmitic acid. Now how is soap formed? It is formed by saponification. Now what is saponification? When we treat fat or oil with NaOH, we get soap. This reaction is known as saponification. Now let us take this example. This is a fat which is obtained from stearic acid. And we treat it with 3 moles of NaOH. So we will get 3C17H35COONA plus glycerol as byproduct. So this is the formation of soap. Now what is the advantage of using soap it is 100% biodegradable. But what is the disadvantage of using soap? That soap cannot be used in hard water. Cannot be used in hard water. Now what is the reason? First is, like, if we react soap with calcium chloride which is present in hard water, it forms scum or precipitate which adheres to the fabric. Similarly, it also reacts with magnesium sulfate which is present in hard water to form scum which adheres to the fabric. Now what is the second disadvantage? That it cannot be used in acidic solution. Why it cannot be used in acidic solution? Because the acid precipitates the insoluble fatty acids from the soap which again adheres to the fabric in the form of a gummy mass. Now we will study what are detergents. What are detergents? Detergents are the sodium or potassium salts of sulfonic acids. Now we can classify detergents as anionic detergents, cationic detergents and non-ionic detergents. Now what are anionic detergents and how they are formed? Anionic detergents are formed by reaction of long chain alcohols with concentrated H2SO4 followed by reaction with NaOH. So first let us talk about sodium alkyl sulfates. So when I react lauryl alcohol, this is lauryl alcohol, with concentrated H2SO4, I get now when I treat it with NaOH, I get sodium lauryl sulfate. Next category is sodium alkyl benzene sulfonate. So we take duodecyl benzene and we treat it with concentrated H2SO4. This is duodecyl benzene and we treat it with concentrated H2SO4 . So we get a SO3H group here, and then when we treat it with NaOH, we will get sodium duodecyl benzene sulfonate, SO3 minus Na plus. Now next category of detergents is cationic detergents. Let us take an example. Now this is cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. They are used in shampoos and hair conditioners. Last category is non-ionic detergents. They do not have any ion and they are used in dishwashing detergents. Now how are they prepared? ethylene glycol is reacted with ethylene oxide and it gives polyethylene glycol, which reacts with stearic acid to give polyethylene glycol stearate. Now, another method to prepare non-ionic detergent is we react lauryl alcohol with ethylene oxide and it forms lauryl alcohol ethoxylate. Now, what are the disadvantages of using detergents? Detergents have long branched chains which are non-biodegradable, so they cause pollution because they cannot be degraded by the microorganisms which are present in water. Now, today we have studied about various applications of chemistry in everyday life. Questions related to these topics are given in the module. Thank you. God bless you.